Saurabh, welcome to Asia Dialogue Forum.
Thank you.
Now we have kept this particular theme, and I want to first of all ask you how this theme resonates with you. What is exactly happening in deep tech area in India specifically?
City? Yes.
So in India, one good thing is that the government has got onto it, which is very important whenever you're talking deep tech, because it's not something that one particular company can pull off or a few companies. So it has to be almost a nationwide phenomenon, right? So for example, if you look at AI, if you look at US and China, for example, it's a national, I would say, mission at this point in time. And similarly, it was really good to see India AI mission, and very glad to say that TechM is a part of India AI mission, one of the 12 selected companies, where we have created our own LLM, which is more suited to the Indian dialects and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah. So one is the government's skin in the game is very important for deep tech. Second thing, from a private sector perspective, see, we are typically, in general, we try to run on a quarterly sprint cycle in terms of, okay, we are making this investment, we need some returns. We are making, at best, a very patient company would look at maybe 12 months or 18 months, right? But deep tech is a 10-year game. When you're talking about semiconductors, when you're talking about quantum.
We have one channel partner, so.
Again, if you look at the kind of investments being made in the US, for example, for AI, we are talking hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars, right? With return inside at this point in time. But they are investing because as and when the time comes, 5 years, 10 years down the line,
I will be ready.
They are ready. And that appetite, that patience, I think is something that our private sector definitely needs to develop, and government has to, I think, provide a national mission towards which everybody works. I would like to quote a few organizations. Think about an ISRO or a DRDO. Some great work that has happened there, right? Lot of R&D, lot of research, lot of cutting edge work. The folks who are working there, they are not just working for money. They are working towards a mission. Correct? Because any day, the kind of skills that they have, the private sector in India and outside will pay them probably hundreds of times of what they're earning.
Yeah.
So that national mission becomes absolutely important, where then the private sector actually aligns to it, whether it is in the area of defense, whether it is in the area of semiconductors, high tech and deep tech and so on and so forth. So I think it's a combination of all of these factors, government skin in the game, private sector really practicing what I would call as patient capital, where you invest capital with looking at returns maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, rather than trying to run a quarterly or a yearly or a cycle. So all of these things together is important for India to become a leader in deep tech.
Now that's good to hear that it needs patience to build deep tech. But with this AI disruption, every day we are looking into the people have already invested and they are now actually making it happen to other parts of the world. We have seen US, we have seen China losing the bus as of now.
Absolutely. We are losing the bus at this point in time, and that is the scale of investment that is required. And why only those two? If you look at Middle East, investing so much in data centers. See, one thing we all know today, the AI, the topmost layer may change on a day-to-day basis with some new technology coming in, some new tools, them and so on. But all of us now know that you need compute power, right? GPU power. And that is something at least which everybody else is riding on. US, China, Middle East and so on. In India also, we have quite a few organizations which have started GPU data centers, which is good, but the kind of scale between India and what US and China are doing is very different.
There's a difference.
A huge difference, right?
Same perspective. See, one is having a technology, okay? One is having, let's say, GPU compute available. Now, who is going to run that GPU compute? Are educational institutes equipping the young minds with that kind of knowledge? Or there is some change which is required?
One thing that India does very well is upskill. That has never been a challenge, whether that is in the core sectors or whether that's in the service sector. When the world moved towards this whole offshoring and everything in late 1990s, we had batches after batches of students who learned coding and who learned how to do it. For example, there are folks who are chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, they became software engineers. So I don't think capability development is an issue in India. I think people here are very smart, intelligent, and very hungry. So they will learn. I don't think that really is something that I would bother about. The important thing is developing something which applies at a global scale rather than just at an India scale. So, for example, there are few good startups which have come up in the last few years in India, right? And they have solved India's problems to a large extent, right? Whether it's e-commerce or logistics. Logistics used to be a big challenge. Nobody thought that India's logistics challenge can be solved, and it got solved. It was the one that started and did it. And then a lot of companies after that, they have done much, even better work. Right? The problem is there something which we can do where we start thinking global, which yes, it will solve the India problem, but it will also solve the global problem, because that is the reason we don't see too many Indian organizations on a global stage.
That means you want to say that start locally, build the solution which is scalable.
Think globally, then start locally. Because what should not happen is that you create an architecture for the business in such a way which is very suitable to India, but is not applicable anywhere else in the world.
Okay.
See, if you look at most of the global organizations, most are from the US, very few from Europe, very few, and again very few from the rest of the world. China still does a little better than other parts. But if we have to play at a global stage, I think we have to think global to begin with. And then of course we can start local, we can experiment local and so on and so forth. But the entire business architecture has to be built in such a way that it satisfies the global audience, not just an Indian audience. We have the capital. We really have our private sector has the capital to do it. And government can also jump in.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Saurabh.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you.